Boomer here, Jones generation. I don't own a company. I've worked for a lot of companies. I've worked for the government. I've worked for the military. And I did a career with the government and retired. But I'm old enough to own a company and be successful with a company. And from my experience, let me tell you what is ruining a lot of young people's lives. It's social media. Companies look at social media. And companies look to see if the person that is applying for the job is appropriate, not only for the position, but is appropriate for the company. If I were the owner of a successful company and I had to hire some people because, we're shorthanded, and I got a slew of applications, and, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to weed out the ones that are not qualified for the position. Those applications are going to be gone. Well, the applications that are left, I've got to decide among a lot of qualified candidates for the job. So how do I go through the process of making that decision? Years ago, the only thing companies could do is look at the resume. That's the only way they could get information about the person. And maybe they'd try to verify some things on the resume or whatever. But that was it. That was before social media became a thing and became prominent. But what they do now is they go on social media and they look at your platforms. They look at your videos. They look at your what you type out right out on X, Facebook, wherever it might be, whatever social media platform you're using. And here's what they're thinking. Is this the type of person that will work well with others without creating a lot of drama in the company? Is this the type of person that knows how to give the company a good name to the public? Or are they going to take their cell phone and do something inappropriate on the cell phone while in a company space or on company time or wearing the company logo on their shirt, or if it requires a uniform like government service sometimes does, whether it be military, law enforcement, whatever it might be, are they going to do making an inappropriate video while in uniform in violation of the handbook or the policies and procedures and so forth? Are we going to have an issue with that if we hire this individual? Are they going to embezzle from the company? Are they a person of good character? Do they cuss every 5 words while speaking on social media? I don't want them cussing at customers. Do you see where I'm going? Even tattoos could be a problem if they're excessive. Um, I might not want my company represented by an inappropriate tattoo or a face, up to the neck full of tattoos and a nose ring and a tongue ring. And that's not who I want representing me to the public, especially if they're in customer service or a company representative. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone of good character, someone who's going to represent the company well, someone who's going to be appropriate in their language, someone who's going to treat others well, who's going to work well with their coworkers, and who is not going to give management a whole lot of trouble. And that when they do their job, it helps to make the company money. Because the bottom line is if the company doesn't make a profit, the company is in big trouble. And how many times have companies gotten into trouble on social media because of something inappropriate that an employee did? Or maybe even some inappropriate decision that a CEO made. Social media is the new reality, and kids today are growing up with it. They don't know a time before social media existed. When I was growing up, there was no social media. We had an AM radio. We had black and white television with 3 stations, newspapers. By the time I got into my teen years, FM came into play, stereo, quadraphonic. Wow, that was really the big deal, especially if you had a car, especially if you had a muscle car and you could blast your stereophonic or your stereo in your car. That was the biggest thrill we got. And of course, a muscle car playing rock music, barreling down the road at inappropriate speeds could get you in a lot of trouble back then as well. But it wasn't blasted all over social media, and it didn't ruin your life. Today, it's easy to ruin your life as a young person by being inappropriate on social media. And once it goes on there, it's there forever. It doesn't go away. By the time I got on social media, I was already old enough to be mature and realize that I needed to be appropriate on social media. Oh, I could express opinions, that's fine. But my behavior and my attitude and my language needed to be appropriate. Try to remember that as a young person. Because if I'm an employer and I look and I see, okay, you got good, your language is clean, you're appropriate, what you talk about on social media is appropriate, you conduct yourself well, you present yourself well, you might be the kind of person I'd want to hire. But if I go on your social media and I see a lot of inappropriate behavior, a lot of cussing, a lot of bad attitude, a lot of not getting along with other people, that kind of thing. You're not the type of person that I'm going to bring in for an interview. And that's why some young folks can't find a job. And they're saying, but I got a degree, I went to school, I worked hard. I'm sure you did. But what's going on your social media? What have you done on social media that made you look bad to employees and to employers? That's the thing you got to look at. Um, Getting another degree. Well, I got a bachelor's. I'm going to go for my master's. That'll get me in the door. Not if you've already ruined it by being inappropriate on social media. That's what you have to understand. So don't do that. And if you do that, make it right. If you have to go on social media and say, I was young and foolish when I did those things on social media. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done those things. I know I've learned a lot now. I'm getting older, more mature. I'm understanding these things. And then have a track record of being appropriate and showing that you're a different person. Okay, I have some grace as a business owner. I can say that person learned from their mistakes. I could use a person that learns from their mistakes. If they make mistakes in the company, and they're able to learn from those mistakes and they're able to move on and better themselves, that might be the kind of person I want to hire. So just some food for thought from an old boomer that spent most of his life working. God bless. I'll see you next time.